Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Salas. I go by the name The Talented Mr. Salas, and you're watching one of my many blabs that I have here, which is a live stream podcast. Thank you so much for everybody that is joining us live, specifically from the Talent Tribe. We have Claudia Santiago, Danielle D, Jackie Perkovic, Hillary Gooden, my boy here in Austin, Texas, an eighth generation Texan, Mr. Jay Garrett, and all the way in Germany, where it's 1 o'clock in the morning, one of our very own Talent Tribe faithful, Sunshine Lady Annette, with our very own legal law expert, Miss Sheena King. You can find her on Blab at Attorney Sheena. Sheena, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yes, well, I'm attorney Sheena King, and I help small business owners create contracts, copyright, trademark their work, and I also help with branding.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So right now I'm in day 23 of a 30-day intensive where I'm helping people with talent and transforming them into thought leaders. So I'm helping them find what is their value to the marketplace, who is their follower, do some market research, establish a marketing plan to aggressively penetrate any marketplace. And the subject that always keeps coming up is, do I need a lawyer for that? Do I need an LLC for this? How do I write that into a contract? And I have to tell people, hey guys, I'm the marketing guy. I'm the sales and marketing guy. I am not a legal person. I am not a legal professional, and I am nowhere near qualified to give that kind of advice. So we're very excited to have you here, Ms. Sheena. How long have you been a lawyer?
I have been a lawyer for 4 years.
Awesome. What's your favorite part about being a lawyer?
My favorite part, I don't exactly know what my favorite part is, but as a lawyer, you get to participate in like different kinds of things, and you get to meet big people. Like earlier this month, I would have been able to meet the Supreme Court had I gone on some kind of trip, but I actually went to help my sister who just had a baby. But otherwise, I would have been in the presence of the Supreme Court, having dinner with them on a yacht and things like that. So that's I think the greatest part about being a lawyer is that you get to rub elbows with really important people.
That's amazing. Is this your first time being an auntie?
No, this is my third time. I have a 7-year-old nephew who has called me and told me that I'm his favorite aunt. So I was with him this past weekend. And then I have a niece from another sister of mine, and then the sister just had the baby. So
Nice. Well, congratulations to you and your family as well as your sister.
thank you.
Cool. So, okay, let's jump right into this. Let's jump right into this. So, right now, if I have somebody, who do I have on here? I have Claudia Santiago right now, and she is working on a bunch of really cool stuff, and she is looking to take people with musical talent, acting talent, any type of performance talent, and put them on stage. And she's developing informational e-learning products for them to really, do some kind of consulting with them. And so she may have somebody who is like Daniel Roberts, who is a concert level pianist, and he is the first recipient of the Talent School's scholarship. And I'm serving him 100% complimentary for his accomplishments and achievements in the music industry. And Claudia wants to work with him on a consulting level, and maybe she's going to book him 10 paid speaking gigs, 5 paid concerts, whatever, and 3 radio shows, or something like that. What kind of legal work does she need behind that?
Well, for booking, I would say she would need a contract. I know some people are friends and they want to enter contracts informally, like with just a handshake, or maybe, as I've heard you say before, like a homeboy, homegirl deal. But that's not the best way to do it, because when things like money get involved, things can fall apart. So you definitely need a contract to work with each other. And the contract should state specifically like what is required, what do you want, what each of the parties want. And so if there ever becomes a conflict, you can just point to the contract and see, okay, this is what the contract says, so this is what we should do. And then if there is a dispute a further dispute, well, the contract should say how you should resolve the dispute. So a contract would definitely be in order for that nature.
Definitely. I'm gonna be switching gears towards my different clients in the talent school right now, and myself as well. So right now, I invested in the Talent Tribe. I invested into a fashion line out of Spain, Marbella, Spain. That is the Boho B collection, and we did it on a homegirl handshake. And I'm doing, and I never met her. I've never met her before. I've already purchased some inventory, a substantial amount of inventory, and that is coming in as in customs right now. And we're going to be having it to where she handles Europe and Spain, and I handle America and maybe Australia and the other markets that I penetrate. So, we're just getting started with this relationship. There's been some substantial amount of international currencies been traded out. We've been friends for 6 months. We have a great relationship, and this is the start of our working relationship. How much at risk am I right now?
I think you're at a great amount of risk. As you said, you've exchanged a substantial amount of currency. So since money is already involved, you do need to come up with a contract. You can't go back and put a contract on what you've already done, but I would say going forward, you do need to put everything in writing. I know you guys are friends and have been friends for 6 months, but friends often fall out over contract disputes. So a contract is very important for something like that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so maybe let me break down the situation a little bit more. So she has a phenomenal product. She's amazing in in-person sales, and she lacks a lot of online sales. And that's where I excel, is online sales. So I'm trying to work out some type of deal where I'm getting some type of percentage of the company, and I'm getting a type of investment that I'm giving her, as well as selling here in America. So with that, a lot of people want to reach out and say, hey, can you, I want to cut you in. I always tell people, like, I serve so much and I give so much complimentary value. I say, you're either going to have to hire me or you're going to have to cut me in. And people often want to cut me into their fashion lines, their product lines. What type of agreements should we need on those? Like, what is standard in those type of agreements?
To have someone, I would say, coming into your business and getting a percentage of that, maybe something like an affiliate agreement, maybe a joint venture if you're doing it together, things of that nature. Like, for example, and if it were an affiliate agreement or something like that, you would need to tell your own customers that, hey, I'm advertising this product. It's someone else's product, but I am getting a percentage of the sales for this. So that's FTC guidelines right there.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. I've probably done at least 30 JVs since I've been on Periscope since October 2015, and I've never signed a contract with any of my JV partners. We just kind of did it. So Claudia asked, would there be a partnership agreement with anything like that, or would a JV be better?
As far as partnerships, I don't like partnerships that are general partnerships because basically, if you're two general partners, you don't really have protection. It's joint and several liability. That means that both of you are at fault for anything that happens. So let's say Frank is in a partnership with the fashion lady, and the fashion lady gets sued for something. Well, they both get sued, and the fashion lady doesn't have any money, but Frank has a lot of money. Frank can end up paying for the entire lawsuit when it was the fashion lady's fault that something happened. So that's why I don't like partnership agreements. The joint venture would be better.
And I can still joint venture and get a percentage of the company?
I guess it would depend on what you have in your agreement. Like,
okay,
cool. You could put in the agreement, I get this percent of this company.
Okay, cool. All right, let's switch a little bit of gears. I have some clients that are always fashionably late to our meetings, and I have seen certain coaches have clauses where if somebody is late more than 15 minutes to a meeting, it counts against their allotted, sessions. And, for me, I come from a real estate background where people are always late. There's always timing issues. But now that I'm online, like I realize people's times are valuable. So what can you say about maybe some type of late clause, or how legal is that?
I would think a late clause would definitely be legal for because, like you said, people's time is worth something. And I've worked with people who have turned in not products but services for me late, and I was thinking that I would put in my agreements later, time is a time is of the essence clause, to say, okay, this is due at a certain time on a certain date, and because the time is of the essence clause is in here, if you breach this clause, then you maybe partially breach the contract or wholly breach the contract.
Wow, my mind is being blown right now. This is going to be a good interview. I can already tell. Claudia Santiago, who is my hermana in the talent tribe, she asked, when concerning the liability factor, is it better to JV for a specific period of time?
Yes, it is better for a specific period of time. So if something bad happens, you can just go your separate ways, and you don't have to be tied to that person forever.
That's phenomenal. Okay, let's say I want to do a JV with Sheena King on some type of LLC product, and how to form an LLC for a lot of these business owners that are first time getting started. What type of legal work would be needed for us to do that? Because all of my JVs, they've been no contract, straight up handshake. I haven't even looked at their PayPal account. They just send me a PayPal. I don't know if it's the right amount. I don't feel comfortable saying, "Yo, let me look at your PayPal," and stuff like that.
Yeah, first of all, we would definitely need a contract, and then whoever is selling the thing, whoever is selling the product or whatever, they would need to be able to let the other person see how much money is coming, then how much they are going to be paid whenever. So yeah, you definitely need a contract for the joint venture, and then the other person needs to be able to see definitely what's going on behind the scenes.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, cool. With when it comes to LMS, a learning management system, where like a Udemy, like a Thinkific, like a Kajabi, or the new Kajabi coming out, and I'm selling a product. If I have a $97 Periscope training, Instagram training, whatever, funny hat wearing training, with that, how much legal work is required for something like that if they're just going to buy from me online?
If they're just going to buy from you online, there are some website documents that are very important that people have. Like when I first started my business, the first thing I did was create an LLC, and then I got my website documents. So the first website document there needs to be is a disclaimer. And a disclaimer is basically saying, giving a gentle warning to your website users. It's saying, hey, don't take this the wrong way, but I want you to use this information on this website in a certain way. Like, for example, I have a YouTube channel and I have YouTube videos on my website. And at the beginning of each video, there's a disclaimer, because I do not want there to be any confusion as to what my position is or what my relationship is to my website users. I'm not creating an attorney-client relationship. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm giving legal information. So I don't want there to be any confusion or anyone to come back and try to sue me for information I gave, and it's just information, not telling them to do something. So, and then next there will be a website terms of use. And the website terms of use basically spells out the rules that people need to follow when using your website. So yeah, that tells them what to do. And if they don't want to follow those rules, they can't use the website. And then third, there is the privacy policy. So anywhere that you collect information, and I know a lot of us have landing pages where we collect a lot of information. Anywhere you collect information, you need to have a privacy policy telling your website users what you do and how you collect their information, and that information, and there are provisions in each of these documents, and these provisions are called, the FTC considers these provisions claims. And so every little like paragraph of the document, you have to be able to back it up. So it has to be 100% true, or the FTC would consider you to be making false claims. And then as for the Kajabi, if you're selling something like a course, you would need to have a terms of sale or terms of purchase. You need to have that document on your site before they can access the product. So they have to read that, and then they have to read it before they can purchase that for them to be in that contract with you.
This is phenomenal stuff. This is absolutely phenomenal stuff. Okay. I say something frequently where I have a certain saying where if you work with me and if you follow my instructions exactly, meaning you broadcast 5 times a day, you make one Instagram post, you post 60 times a day on Periscope, on Twitter, you Snapchat, 50 times a day, et cetera, et cetera. And if you do that for 100 days, I guarantee you will have a soft 5-figure launch where you will not have to advertise. You will not have to do anything like that. Why should I stop saying that?
You should not make any guarantees. They're in a contract. There may be a clause that says no guarantee. We have no guarantee that you will have these kind of results because everyone's results differ. So if I were you, I would stop making that guarantee. You could say, oh, such and such had these results after doing this, but results may not be typical, and I make no guarantees that this will happen for you.
Nice. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
I basically wouldn't say that, but I mean, you can do what you want, but it's not the best thing to do legally. So.
Right. Okay, so I have a beta version of a pilot program that I'm dropping, and it's a 30-day intensive. And I didn't publicly advertise it, and I went out to people in the tribe that were very, very interested, and I said, hey, look, I'm about to drop this program. It's a beta. It's my first time doing it. There's probably going to be some errors, some typos, some ums, and some ahs. I don't have any contracts. I don't have any intention of getting them done. This is my fee. Here's a sales page for it. If you're interested, swipe that credit card, make that PayPal go bling, and I'm gonna rock your world. So I told them straight up. So they're okay with it. They were cool with it, but now I'm about to have I'm getting that feedback. I'm having that official stuff. And there's a few things that I had some concerns in that. So I had some IP, intellectual property, that were mind maps, flow charts, PowerPoint presentations that I just put out there to the public, or not the public, but the people in the school. And people could easily take that, put their logo on there, say it as their own. And I have no protection over that. What can I do to protect myself from that kind of stuff?
Well, first of all, you can copyright all of that information, and copywriting is pretty cheap. It's like, I think the lowest price is $35 per whatever you're copywriting. And also, like you said, you didn't have any contracts, but in your terms of purchase or terms of sale, you would put in there that this is for your own use, for the customer's own use, and they can't use it or distribute it or do anything else with it. Just use it for themselves and their business.
Nice. Okay. All right. I have a tribe that I founded called the Talent Tribe. And in this tribe, there's many professionals with many expertises, and we want to JV like crazy. We even want to form a real estate trust, the world's first social media REIT. And, of course, we're going to have contracts for something like that. But in the Talent Tribe, we're having a conference. And my goal for one of the conferences is if you can bring 10 people from your tribe to our conference, we're going to comp your flight, we're going to comp your food and your hotel stay. if you can bring in 10 people to our conference in August. And we're doing a lot of things like that. Should I form an LLC for the Talent Tribe and make that a separate entity to protect myself and maybe people in the tribe?
I would think so. It's dealing with conferences and stuff, bringing people. Like, I can see things happening and they come back and want to sue Frank. So if you create an LLC, that would protect you. And if someone sues someone or something, it would be the LLC, and they can't come and get your house, your car, or anything like that, as long as you're running the LLC like it's supposed to be run. So definitely, if I were you, I would create an LLC. Or depending on how much money you're making with the Talent Tribe, if you're making a substantial amount of money and you don't want to spend a lot of money on taxes, you may want to form an S corporation or have your LLC taxed as an S corporation. But it just depends on how much money the Talent Tribe is making.
How does LLC status affect doing international business versus doing business in the United States?
How does it affect doing international business? I guess if someone internationally wants to sue you, then it will still be the LLC being sued.
Okay. So there's really no difference from that, you know?
Not as far as I know, as far as being sued, but I could look that up for you.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So I have a company in the Philippines, and I have multiple bank accounts all over the world. And, you know, I won't this is a recorded call, so I won't be saying more about that. You know how the United States gets. But that was a question from our girl, Claudia Santiago, and she is in Canada and she's from Chile. And she also has a lot of clients in the United States. So as we start to move down this social media path and we have a lot of worldwide clients, there's a lot of people who are like, okay, I have an LLC in Australia, but my clients are in London, Spain, South Africa. What kind of preparedness should someone have when conducting business on this brand new online frontier?
I would think some people, they will form business entities in the countries where they are doing business if they are getting a lot of business in those countries. So if someone possibly wants to sue you from that country, in that country, maybe that would help in that way. But I'm not exactly sure internationally, but I can definitely research that and get back to you guys on that.
Awesome. Okay, cool. We have a lot of people that are first-time entrepreneurs and they don't know what terms of sale is. They don't know privacy policies. Like, they're just like, I want to be in business online. They come in from a great place, but they're entering into a very dangerous world where people can sue you. They can take your home. They can, you know, put civil lawsuits on you. There's just so many things people can do that people are unaware about. For those rookie entrepreneurs that are just now venturing into the online business, what should they be aware of? What are some of the first steps that they should take? Can you maybe walk us down that path?
Okay, first of all, like I said, you would get a contract with your state, or if someone is in Canada, with their province or whatever it is there, like with the LLC or maybe an S corp, depending on the amount of money you're making. The next thing is get those legal documents for your website, for your landing pages, so people can't come back and sue you. If your information is there, if those documents are there, they should have read them. So if they're trying to sue you, they just look at those contracts and figure out what they need to do. And then the next thing I would say would be, if they have intellectual property, definitely get a copyright for that intellectual property. Maybe if they have a brand, trademark that brand, because they don't want someone else coming up and using that brand. Like, for example, Frank, I know there's a picture with you with like an ascot and a cigar, and I was thinking that would be such a great picture to trademark. So what if you wanted to trademark that, or what if you want to continue using it, and then someone comes up later and uses the same picture with a cigar and an ascot, and they trademark it, then you can't use it anymore. So I would definitely say trademark and trademark your brand so you can prevent other people from using it. And Yeah, basically, those are things that you need to do, especially when online, when your image is basically everything.
Right. And I'm finding that the more and more that I say, like I dropped a quote 2 days ago, which was if you share or when you share your golden nuggets with the world, it will pay you in diamonds. And like I put that on like Instagram and stuff like that and Twitter. And then sure enough, 48 hours later, everybody has their own quote saying the same exact thing. And I'm like, I said that like, and I think it's kind of cool that the people are, it's very flattering, but I'm like, there's going to get to a point where I drop some gold and people are going to be trying to take that and I'm going to need to register that. So you're saying that I should trademark all of my quotes as well, my
Well, I
sayings?
wouldn't say trademark all of them. You would trademark the things that you don't want anyone else to be able to use.
Okay. Okay, cool. If I do a joint venture with Grant Cardone and he loves me and he's like, man, this kid Frank is crazy and he has these virtual assistants in the Philippines, I want to introduce him to my multi-million-dollar clients. And I want to put him on a 4-hour webinar and and we can split the profits, 80% to Grant and 20% to Frank Salas or whatever that the case may be. He obviously would have a legal team that was quite substantial behind him, and I would be somebody who is, an aspiring entrepreneur who has some business acumen, but he would outgun me, is what I'm trying to say. Like he would definitely outgun me. How can I enter that boardroom at the most advantageous position from a legal aspect?
I would say find yourself a lawyer because you definitely don't want to use his lawyer because his lawyer is going to be making decisions in his best interest. So definitely find yourself a good lawyer who has a lot of experience in that area that you are talking about. And I mean, I would say interview several lawyers and find the one that's the best fit for you.
Nice, nice. Lots of people talk about this LLC thing, and I always find that people feel like they have an understanding of it, but you're a lawyer or a legal professional, and you deal with LLCs like it's second nature. Can you maybe describe to the novice entrepreneur what exactly an LLC is and what the benefit of having an LLC is?
Okay, an LLC is a legal entity that can be owned by one or more people. And you create an LLC to protect yourself from the debts or anything that happens in your business. So if you're operating as a sole proprietor, and for example, let's say you own a restaurant and someone comes in, slips and falls on a puddle of water, they're going to want to sue you. So if they sue you and the restaurant doesn't have as much money as they want and they win, they could come back, they could come after you. And if you have a nice house, a nice car, they can definitely try to take that. So if you had an LLC, the LLC protects you. There, it puts a shield between you and the business. So if the business did not have enough money to pay the judgment that the person who slipped on the floor wins, then they don't get everything they won. They just get what the LLC has. So basically, they get what you invested in the business, and you keep your nice
Right.
house, keep your nice car.
Ooh wee. Okay, perfect. How much does an LLC cost? Does that vary per state to state?
Yes, it varies per state. I would say in the state where I registered my LLC, it was about $150, and that was for the name and the LLC itself. And then every year in my state, you have to pay a fee to keep your LLC in good standing. And then I would say in California, it's more expensive because I think you have to pay an $800 fee every year for the LLC. And then I know in New York, someone asked me about New York the other day. And when you register your LLC in New York, you have to get it published in the newspaper, like for several weeks that you have registered an LLC. So it can be expensive depending on where you register the LLC.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing. That's very valuable information that I feel most people don't really know why LLCs would be amazing for them and their business and their protection. Have you ever experienced any type of, I mean, we're in the Periscope world, we're in the social media circles. Have you ever experienced where maybe somebody didn't follow through with, like if I hired someone to make me a best-selling author and they just didn't pull through, what type of legal action do I have? And what type of legal action do I realistically have?
Legal action for someone who you hired who didn't really do the work, you could possibly sue that person. Or if you had a contract with that person, you read the contract and you figure out what are your dispute resolution options. So some contracts will say you go to mediation, and mediation is you two get in the room and come to an agreement. And then there could be arbitration. Arbitration is basically different than a court system. You pay to go to arbitration, but for small business owners, I don't think you would want to go that route because it can get really expensive. And another route is just to go to court, and people in court are paid to help you out, or whatever. The judge is paid to adjudicate the case. So that would be less expensive than arbitration. And another thing, realistically, it depends on how much money the person has. Like something that we talk about in tort law is basically personal injury, property damage, or whatever. Is you go after the person with a deep pocket. So you're not going to really want to sue someone who doesn't have the money to pay you, because you're just spending money and you may not get it back. So realistically, you go after the person with a deep pocket and hope for the best.
Awesome. This has been phenomenal. I'm going to ask my final question and then maybe open the questions from anybody in the audience. But if I were to bring you a tribe of 700 people who have never done business online, who have never filed for an LLC or never had any legal entity experience, what would be maybe like the checklist that they need to come to you with? And then what would be the next steps that you would help them with?
The checklist, they want to form a legal entity. So they would basically tell me how much they're making, or if they haven't made any money, that's okay as well. So with the legal entity thing, I would just want to decide whether we want to be an LLC or an S corporation, or an LLC operating as an S corporation. They can make that decision. Another thing is the kind of business they do, so we could know what kind of contracts they need, what they have on their website, so we could know what website documents they need. What kind of information are they putting out there into the universe? Are they making music that needs to be copyrighted? Are they creating poetry? Are they creating courses? All of that can be copyrighted. Also, what is their brand? And if they haven't created a brand, we want to help them create that, an authentic brand, and then try to trademark that brand so they can be the only one to use it.
Gotcha. So I should trademark the talented Mr. Salas, is what you're saying.
That would be a good idea.
Cool. That's phenomenal. So that's the final questions that I have. Actually, I have one more question. What is an S corp? Maybe I know what an S corp is, but maybe somebody doesn't know what that is. What is that?
Okay, an S corp derives from a corporation. So a corporation is like a big company. Well, it may not be that big, but it's a company that is taxed twice. It is taxed on its profits, and when the shareholders, who are the owners of the corporation, when they receive dividends, those dividends are taxed as well. So if you don't want to be taxed twice and lose a lot of money being taxed twice, you would elect to become an S corporation. So in the S corporation, you're taxed basically like you're in a partnership. You will be taxed once. So the profits flow through to you, and you report them on your income taxes, and you're only taxed once. As for is that payroll? I think payroll taxes or whatever for an S corporation. And the thing is, with an S corporation, you can pay yourself a salary. So let's say you make $100,000 in a year. Instead of having that entire $100,000 taxed, you could pay yourself a salary of $50,000. That will be taxed. And the other $50,000 will come to you as a capital distribution. And you will receive that $50,000 tax-free. So that's the big, the S corporation.
That was fire right there. I think that's a phenomenal note to end it on. We have the hot seat available for anybody that has any specific questions. We have a superstar, Sheena King, who has dropped some knowledge on us in the last 20 minutes or so. So feel free to call in or type in any of the questions that you do have in the comments below. We do have quite a few people here joining us live. We have Danielle D., Hillary Gooden, Jake Garrett, and Miss Annette out in Germany. So if you have any questions, pop in. I thought this was phenomenal and great. Sheena, where can people find you?
You can find me at sheenaking.com. That's SHENA King, KING.com. And I'm also on Periscope at Attorney Sheena. This is my first time on Blab, really, at Attorney Sheena. I'm on Instagram at Attorney Sheena and Twitter at Attorney Sheena.
Awesome. This has been phenomenal. It looks like you've done just such a great job of bringing out some value, and maybe people are just like mind blown right now. Like, I thought I knew business. I don't know anything. I don't know law. This is awesome. Great.
Value to you guys if you didn't know about a lot of this stuff. So.
Perfect. Well, thanks again. And we'll definitely be able to check you out at www.sheenaking. My name is Frank Salas, also known as a Talented Mr. Salas. I'm the founder of the Talent Tribe, where I bring complimentary interviews with experts like Miss Sheena King on a regular basis. And you can find me by going to Facebook and searching for our private Facebook group, the Talent Tribe, where I serve those with talent and transform them into thought leaders. Talk to you guys later.